are watching The Political Vigilante. So I've done several videos on Jeffrey Epstein. I interviewed about the case, but we haven't really talked yet about Ghislaine Maxwell. So this was his madam, who I talked a little bit about it in the interview with the child crimes detective, of who is she and what has been her involvement in this. And it's coming out now that she was like his madam. And I even said this, that, you know, she was a recruiter. And former detective Eric Oldenburg, who was on the show, said, well, Graham, that's part of the issue, is we got to stop getting away from these words that kind of, you know, minimize what is happening. And a recruiter sounds like, oh, you're just getting, you know, girls that are 19, 20 years old. And he's like, she manipulated and exploited children. If you're a teenager, if you're 14, 15, 16, you're a child. Your brain literally hasn't developed yet. So, you know, he brought that up in my interview, which is good, and I'm trying to make sure I change that language. So let's just talk a little bit about who she is. Okay, her father is a former Mossad agent, and she has ties to the royal family. And back in 2009, she was charged not just for grooming and manipulating children, but actual sexual assault. She's disappeared. Where is she? How come she hasn't been charged? Does anyone know where she's at? We don't know. But she knows a lot of very powerful people, just like Jeffrey Epstein. So Virginia Roberts Giffrey, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that name, alleges that Maxwell not only recruited her at age of 16 to be victimized by Epstein, but also provided instructions on how to give Jeffrey what he wants. Okay, and this is pretty horrifying. Told these girls, this is a child, 16 is a child, on what Jeffrey likes, what sex acts to perform. It's pretty horrifying. In the 2009 lawsuit, Giffrey alleged that both Epstein, who faces sexual trafficking charges, and Maxwell sexually abused her. This is 2009. Both cases were settled out of court. You know who settles stuff out of court? Guilty people that don't want the truth to come out, right? If you were accused or I was accused of something and I knew I was innocent, I'd be like, no, we're going to trial. I didn't do this. I didn't do this at all. I wouldn't like, ooh, shh, right? This happened in 2009. Epstein got busted in 2007. He was doing time, I believe, time in West Palm Beach, let him run around and get on his jet and go commit awful crimes while the West Palm Beach police did nothing because they're all on the take. So this happened in 2007. Then this is his ex-girlfriend. They stayed together working even after they dated. So everybody, and then she has these accusations. So what are these powerful people doing, right? She has this mysterious non-for-profit, right? Investigators are reportedly probing close Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell's mysterious ocean nonprofit. Save the oceans. See, this is the thing we talk about. This is what the ruling class does, what these big corporations do. They have these non-for-profits. They think they're doing great things, like a foundation or whatever. So that was one of the things she started after the 2009 accusations of like, oh, now I'm helping the oceans. Distract, we're not talking about it. Oh, and I'll get my millionaire and billionaire friends to donate to this organization. We know how the Clinton Foundation works, don't we? 20 countries donated to the Clinton Foundation before Hillary became Secretary of State. Then when she became Secretary of State, those 20 countries all got defense contracts. That's how a lot of these foundations are done. Some people do foundations that are to help. That's the point. You collect all this money and then you can decide where the money goes to. But a lot of these rich people, and this is the awful, evil ruling class, right? It was called TerraMar Project, was the name of her mysterious ocean. They're starting to investigate it because there's no evidence of anybody like being helped or money. Like there's no like, oh, the TerraMar project gave this, polluted beach all this money for a cleanup, and there's no like hard evidence. So here's some mysterious stuff they started to investigate. The Post reported that a young woman identified as a member of the board of the TerraMar project was also listed as a passenger. Want to take a guess on whose airplane? On 2 different flights from JFK Airport taken by Epstein private plane in 2005 when she was 19. So a 19-year-old that is listed on this, see, they just list some 19-year-old? Probably like, well, she can take the fall then if we found all this corruption. When did this 19-year-old, when did Maxwell start grooming her? How young of a child was she when Maxwell started grooming her? Because that was clearly her job. We know this about Epstein's plane rides. Prosecutors say Epstein transported young women between properties in New York, Palm Beach, and the Virgin Islands on his fleet of private jets referred to as the Lolita Express between 2002 and 2005. So explain this to me. This woman is why is she on these flights 2002 to 2005? So when this woman who's listed as TerraMar is on these same flights, you see how this is all kind of filthy connection? And this 19-year-old woman, more than likely, is just one of the victims of this. I don't believe she's guilty, but we don't know. There's no real evidence of TerraMar helping or doing anything. People just gave money. It was probably just used for leverage as part of this. And then, what's happened to the Ocean, Save the Ocean project? Oh, she shut it down. Ghislaine Maxwell abruptly torpedoed her ocean nonprofit in the wake of the scandal surrounding her association with Jeffrey Epstein. Huh. And now no one can find her. Do we know where she is? She being protected by the Rothschilds in London or maybe the Saudis? In 2015, the Daily Mail reported that the organization was listed as a partner of the Clinton Global Initiative in the Sustainable Oceans in 2013, 4 years after Maxwell was subpoenaed by Epstein victims. So this is the thing that's key now. All of these people, Trump says, oh, I had no contact with her. There's a photo of Maxwell and Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein and Trump and some young woman, all hanging out. There's all these tweets and quotes. Yeah, Epstein's a good guy. He's my buddy. We got the same taste in women. So that everyone's distancing themselves now. Bill Clinton said, I was only on his plane 4 times. We know that's a lie because they have flight records. Flight records say he was on 26 flights. Bill Clinton was on 26 flights. There's flight records. I'm not making that up. That's not a guess. I'm not pulling numbers out of my hat. Right? One of the victims that's come forward worked at Mar-a-Lago. So the Epstein victims, right? Maxwell was subpoenaed by Epstein victims in 2009. So 07 he's busted, gets the slap on the wrist by Acosta in Florida. The West Palm Beach police let him do whatever he wants. Let him have an 12 or 13 hour furlough every day where what does he do? Oh, he flies his plane all over the place, raping children. And then, so all this stuff is happening and everybody knows this. If you're just hanging out all day, you meet someone, you hang out with them, right? You do business with them, and then they're accused of these awful crimes, and then you say, well, as soon as I found out about the crimes, I stopped associating with them. Then that's a reasonable, like, okay, I didn't know. I could be friends with somebody who's doing something awful right now and I'm not aware of it. The minute charges like this come forward, I'm out. I'm going to sit down with that person and go, what the hell is this? They kept doing business with them. The Clinton Global Initiative in the Sustainable Oceans, 2013, 4 years after Maxwell was subpoenaed by the Epstein victims, 2 of which she settled out of court for. Chelsea Clinton denies close ties to Jeffrey Epstein's ex. I barely knew her. Just like her dad lied. I was only on the plane 4 times. You're 22 plane rides off, Bill. But maybe it's not fair to judge Chelsea because of her parents. Maybe Chelsea's a good person. Here's a tweet from Adam McKay, comedy filmmaker. Oh, here's Ghislaine Maxwell, by many accounts, Jeffrey Epstein's pimp and groomer of girls at Chelsea Clinton's wedding. Bill, Chelsea, Ghislaine. He puts this out July 7th of this year. That statement, and here's the truth. Filthy Clinton ruling class lie, truth. I'm not just trying to go after the Clintons. Trump it's going to come out. It's everybody, man. This is horrifying. This is horrifying. There's new reports that Epstein was trying to inseminate women to create some sort of master race or something. I'll show it in another video. There's drone footage of his creepy pedophile island in the Virgin Islands. There's some weird sundial. I mean, this is like evil, evil, sinister stuff. And I'm sorry, kid, you're not innocent. You're not either. Boom. What you gonna? Oh, I didn't know. We had 300 people at the wedding. I don't know who picked them. Well, then who picked them? Who finalized the guest list? Was it just anybody? Just show up at the Clinton wedding? No security. Just show up. Open bar. Whoever shows up. I got no control over it. Did your mom know? Did typically the mother of the bride has some say in the guest list? I'm just guessing. Bam, boom, boom. Lie, truth. This is what, I have no distance. They just hope it keeps going away. I'm not going to let this go away. Because this is more than just some kind of scam cover-up. This is showing you the evils of the ruling class. They are evil people. Grooming children to be raped by grown men. And she raped some of them too. Hey, women are pedophiles too. Awesome. Why is she invited? We didn't know. Oh, no. This happened after the 2007 court case where he was Epstein was a convicted sex crimes, subpoenaed in the case. 2 victims accuse her and they settle out of court. This happened after all of that. If you didn't know that a friend of yours, a friend of the family was doing this awful stuff, and then once you find that out, would you invite them to your wedding? I wouldn't. I wouldn't at all. I've cut ties with people that have done a lot less, that weren't awful, that weren't profiting and participating in a pedophile ring. Thanks for watching the show, everybody. We're going to get to the truth of it because I want to expose you to the ruling class. It's not just the Clintons, it's the Trumps, it's everybody. When this list comes out, it's going to be celebrities, athletes, people we didn't have any idea, we had no idea. It's going to bum a lot of us out. There's going to be some name, it's going to bum a lot of us out. We all have to kind of brace ourselves for that. Oh, I loved their work. Oh, really? And I'll say this, just because somebody is associated with Epstein in some small way, you can't say they're all guilty. We need evidence and we need facts, for sure. Don't just Epstein wrote down one person's name and, oh, that person's guilty. I'm not going to do that. But there's going to be evidence. There's some hard drives that Epstein has to have. He's got his black book. There's no way he talks to some of his victims have said, oh, Jeffrey Epstein would deliberately keep track and records of all these powerful people to use it as leverage in the event that he gets caught. So these powerful people want to make sure he's dead. Ghislaine Maxwell, why isn't she behind bars? Why isn't she on trial? Why isn't she? Where is she? She's just disappeared? A co-conspirator in probably one of the biggest human trafficking rings on the planet? At least the most powerful people are doing it. Thanks for watching the show, ladies and gentlemen. Like, subscribe, and share these videos. Watch the ads all the way through. When you click skip ad, I don't get paid. Please support me at patreon.com/Graham Elwood. That interview I did with the child crimes investigator, that got demonetized. So they're going to make it hard or encourage me to not do these type of videos. Whenever something gets demonetized, I request a manual review, and a lot of times they say, oh, it is okay, suitable for advertisers. But the child crimes investigation video, demonetized. This one might get demonetized. So if you can support me at Patreon, even for $2 a month, it helps out what I do. Or go to Rockfin, ROKFIN.com/Graham Elwood. It's blockchain. I get paid in cryptocurrency. All those links are below. And then we've got the Progressive Comedy Tour in January. In September, we're going to Omaha, Sioux Falls, Madison, Minneapolis, and Iowa City. We're putting together dates in November in Australia. We're going the 14th to Melbourne, the 15th to Adelaide, the 17th to Sydney, and the 22nd in Perth. Adelaide and Perth, those ticket links are already up. Melbourne and Sydney, we're going to have those very soon. Thank you so much for watching.